not gonna lie. They hurt. They all hurt. Everything hurts. Don't think it's not gonna hurt, because it'll hurt. At least a little bit. Even if you're tough, it'll hurt. Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? It's me. I'm back. Okay, so I figured, this is probably gonna be a short video, but figured I would talk a bit about my tattoo and my piercings, tell a little story about how they went, and just show you how they're doing now. So in chronological order, we will start with my ears. I was gonna put earrings in for this and forgot about that until just now. We're not gonna do that because I don't really, it's too much work. It's too much work. You guys know what ear piercings look like. So I got my ears pierced when I was 13. There wasn't really a rule that I couldn't get my ears pierced. My mom didn't want to do it when I was a baby, and it was kind of at the point where she was like, all right, whenever you want it. And I wanted my ears pierced so bad. And then when I was probably 11, I was in a Claire's, and I saw a baby get her ears pierced, and she screamed and cried, and I was like, so that didn't happen. At least not then. So I wanted them really bad. All my friends had them. I had stick-ons. I had clip-on, which I don't think they do stick-ons anymore. In case you don't know what that is, you would get this big like cardboard sheet, and it had a bunch of different like gems on it that would just stick, and you stuck them on your ears like they were earrings. So I had a lot of those. I had clip-on earrings, and now you have a lot more options for clip-ons. Like you can get all different styles. One night my mom and I were at Walmart, and I was like, let's get my ears pierced, you know, totally joking, as a total joke. And I was like, okay, cool. And we walked over there, and the chick was like, yeah, I could do you right now. And I was like, I was kidding. I don't want to do this. And I was like, nope, you're doing it. Like, let's go. You said it. Ovary up. So I sat down in a little chair. My mom held my hand. I cried. And you know, she did it up. Thought I was super cool. Had my little studs, which I feel like, maybe because I feel like I have big earlobes, the studs are so tiny. I was so disappointed. I was like, this looks disproportionate to the rest of my head, but whatever. And I had all the rolls, and I did all the cleanings. The second I could change them, I did. Once I had my ears pierced, my Nana and my mom and me, like, were buying unnecessary amounts of earrings at that point. And I wore the dumbest earrings ever. Like, they were the dumbest earrings. And the second I could change them, I probably went like a day or two without putting an earring in there. Because this is nothing. I was in sports at that point. Like, I was older, I was doing sports, so I couldn't wear them. And one of them, this one? I'll tell you in a second. No, it was this one. It grew over. So I went into Claire's in the mall again. Well, not again, but I went in there and with my mom and was like, you know, my whole grew over. She goes to pierce it, and she goes, do you want me to fix it? And I was like, fix what? It's a hole in my ear. And she was like, well, the first person that did it pierced it uneven. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, for one, the holes are not evenly placed. Like, they're not equal. They're in different places. And this one is pierced like this. Instead of straight through your ear, it's like this. And I was like, yes, I would prefer to have that done correctly. So when she pierced it, she put a new hole in the front, but it still came out in the back the same way. So I now have two front holes in this. I'm feeling, because you can like feel the two different cartilage. So I think it's this one. So I now have two holes in the front, but one in the back. Now, you may ask, why are there still two holes? Because when you're going to put an earring in, you don't look and see like which specific hole you're putting in. You just put it in your ear. So that hole won't close because I keep like putting it in another one. So, moral of the story, don't get your ears pierced at night and a Walmart. My ears have closed like 4 times and I've gotten them re-pierced multiple times. I haven't put an earring in a long time, but I know that they're not closed. Like I put them in sometimes. Sometimes I wear earrings. Now I tend to wear like big fake diamondy studs. My mom did get me real diamond earrings when I was in high school. And when I was in high school, I was part of the Red Flannel Court. It's specific to my town. It's a whole story. But we had to wear diamond earrings. Well, not real diamond, but just like plain diamond earrings to all our events. And so she had gotten me those for... What is happening today? Why can I not speak English? She had gotten me those in celebration of me getting on the court. Because I'm legacy. And yeah, I wore those. Then I got my tattoo. So, in case you have not seen my tattoo, it is right here. It says, "When you go through deep waters, I will be with you." Isaiah 43:2. It's really hard to see. So, I wanted a tattoo from the time I turned, like the plan was to get one as soon as I turned 18. But I was still in high school, and my mom made me a little deal. I did not have a cell phone growing up, and so for my 18th birthday, I got a cell phone. Part of the cell phone rules was that I was not allowed to get a tattoo for at least a year. So, a year later, I went and got my tattoo. It's a Bible verse, my favorite Bible verse. The handwriting is actually a woman that goes to my church. She does calligraphy, and I have had all of her kids in nursery school, and I love their family, and I knew that she did calligraphy, and I couldn't find a font that I wanted, so I texted her hey, can you write this up for me? And she was like, oh sure, whatever, and then sent it to him cool, I'm getting that tattooed on my body tomorrow. And she was like, a lot of pressure. I'm like, no, it's good, I like it. So I actually went by myself, which I had to go when the time was good for me. I was working, I was going to school, I couldn't just wait for someone to go with me. And so I went, and the guy that did it is super awesome. When I go home, my next tattoos will be done by him for sure. And I laid on the table, put my arm like this right here, put my headphones in, turned on some Justin Bieber. When I was 19 years old, yes, the Bieber fever is strong in this one. Point is, turned on some Justin Bieber and just took some deep breaths. I actually almost fell asleep. I was really nervous because before I even went there, everyone's like, that's the most painful spot, your ribs. And I was like, that's where I want it. I don't want it anywhere else. So I went in, and the tattoo artist was like, this is your first tattoo, it's pretty painful. And I was like, I have a pretty high pain tolerance. And I will say that it actually wasn't that bad. It didn't take very long. I think I was in and out of there in an hour. Granted, I did already have it all worked up. He literally scanned it into the computer and put it on my body, and I was like, yep, that's it. I went to the bathroom, and we went on from there. And it was $100. I think it was $80, and I gave him a $20 tip. So, and like I said, I was in and out in an hour. I love my tattoo. I think there's a lot of pieces, a lot of layers to it, and that's why I love it so much. It wasn't just oh my gosh, I love the color pink, so I'm gonna get the word pink tattooed on my forehead. No, it was very thought out, and I love it. I love showing it off, but I also love that it is hidden. So a lot of times, people don't just see you shirtless. So, summertime comes around, and I have if I have a cutoff shirt on, you can see it. Or if I have a bathing suit on, someone's like, you have a tattoo? I'm like, yes. Yes, I do. But yeah, I love my tattoo. I my parents, my aunt and uncle, I think they forget it's there sometimes, to be honest. My parents didn't actually think I was going to do it. They thought I was lying. So they were like, kind of like, oh wow, you actually did it. And they didn't really say anything about it. They still don't really say anything about it. Like I said, I think they forget it's there. My mom was angry, to say the least. She would not look at it. She didn't see it for the first, I think, the 2 months I had it. Like, if I was in the bathroom cleaning it, I would have to shut the door. Like, because she just didn't want to see it. She was really angry about it. But now, she doesn't really care. Her main thing is she has a tattoo that she really regrets. And it's nothing crazy. It's literally a heart, but it's on the back of her shoulder, and she just hates it because it has no meaning. She just got it because she was young and dumb, and she just doesn't like it. I remember as a kid her tanning, trying to fade it on purpose, but that's a whole other thing. Point is, she is fine with it now. I'm assuming. We haven't talked about it in a while. This may open a conversation I was unsure of. Next came my tongue piercing. This one got some grief, to say the least. I did not tell anyone I was getting my tongue pierced. I told not a soul. I'm sure I told my friends, but like family-wise, did not tell my parents, like nothing. I talked about it for about 20 minutes and then like Pinterested it, and I was like, yeah, it's happening. One of my best friends and I were like, all right, let's go to this place, and I can't remember why we went there. I think that I went there with her before or something, or no. One of my best friends from high school has a bunch of piercings, and I asked her about it. I was like, where should I go? Because there's a couple places where I live. There's like a chain of places that you're not supposed to go to because they're absolute crap, and people have all sorts of horror stories. So I was like, where do I go? So she suggested this place, and they're expensive, but they're really, really nice. They're super clean. They're really friendly. I've been back there multiple times, like with friends, and when I go back, like I'm gonna go there and get it. Like, I'm gonna go back. I love them there. So, in case you haven't seen it, so, this was like not even a year and a half ago, like a year and some change ago. And my best friend and I went in, and she got her cartilage, but I don't think it was the first one. I feel like she got it re-pierced or got another hoop or something. I don't remember. She has a bunch of ear-related piercings, so I can never remember. And it seems that every time I go and do something, I tend to talk her into them, So, we went in. I was nervous, but not, like, terrified. Like, I was like, I don't know how this is going to feel, and I Googled a bunch of stuff. So, they bring me back in there, and I, lay back on the table, and they grab your tongue with these clamps. And I kept reading on, and then they're like, the clamps hurt the worst. I don't really think any of it hurt. Weirdly enough, I didn't really feel it at all. So they grab your tongue with the clamps, and they don't, like, pull it out of your mouth. It's kind of like you're just, like, it's, like, right over your teeth. Like, when your tongue is right over your teeth. Well, your tongue is a muscle, and sometimes muscles are very thick and strong. So he takes, and it's, like, one of those long curved needles. And he takes it and shoves it through my tongue. He's like, and all I can see out of the corner of my eye is my best friend's face, just like, well, apparently, he had to really give it some force because it wasn't going all the way through. But you could still see the needle trying. So, like, you could kind of see it poking out of the bottom without it actually coming through. Which is so gross. So, he gets it through. And I remember him being like, okay, you can put your tongue back in your mouth. And the bar was a lot longer because they want it to have room for your tongue to swell. And I remember being like, I couldn't pull it back into my mouth because it was just so foreign. Like, it was so weird, and I know I look like a freak. And I remember taking pictures of it, and all the pictures are like this. Because I couldn't stick my tongue out and put it back in. It was something. So we went back to my friend's house. I had pizza, which he told me not to eat, like to eat soft foods and a couple other things. But I broke that right away. I had pizza because I was like, I feel fine. What are you talking about? And then we were doing face masks. And my mom calls. And I like answered and put her on mute, and I looked at my best friend and and I was like, I can't tell her, she'll be so mad. So we're talking and da-da-da-da-da-da. And she goes, you know, what are you doing? And I go, I'm doing face masks at Jessica's. Because I just got my tongue pierced. Now, sometimes I feel like I can hear a little bit of a lisp in there still, but my tongue is used to the piercing now, so it's not as bad. But right after, it was rough. And I muted it, and I just looked at my best friend, and I go, I'm gonna have to tell her. And I unmute. And I'm, you know, hey, Mom, I did a thing today. And she's like, what did you do? I was like, I got my tongue pierced. And she goes, I'll see you when you get home. I'm 20 years old and like I'm like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. I don't want to see her. So my parents were, my like aunt and uncle still like that one was kind of, it was like a thing, but not really. It was more like, why did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I like the idea of it. And like another, just like my tattoo, you can't really see it. And my mom was pissed. She wasn't nearly as mad about that as my tattoo. Her reasoning was, I could take this out, which I understand. So after that, it was fine. The healing process was fine at first, but I was not following the soft foods thing. I was working at Jimmy John's, so I was eating subs all the time, and it finally got to a point where it was so swollen, and I was so miserable. Like, it was, like, my tongue was just filled up my mouth. Like, I couldn't talk, which everyone else loved that. Couldn't talk. Couldn't really eat anything. Like, I was so miserable. But I'm not saying that happens every time you get your tongue pierced. I'm saying it happens when you break the freaking rules. I broke the rules. Don't break the rules. I paid for it. So then, it wasn't that long ago. It was after I came home from camp. So it was probably this past fall. I was eating and my tongue ring came out. Now, after I got it, I went in and got it replaced. Now, if you didn't notice, I have a flat jewel on the end. And I like that because then I like don't feel it in my mouth as much. I don't play with it as much. Like, I didn't like having a ball on there, so I got a flat piece. I went in, it like fell out, and I go in and they put it, or I tried to put it back in and it fell out again. And I was like, okay, this is really bad. One of the times it fell out, I just went to sleep, and when I woke up in the morning, I tried to do it, and I couldn't get it back in. And because like it had closed, and I was like, okay, like this is a problem. And I go back in and tell them what's happening, and they have a warranty on all their jewelry. If you go in, they'll replace it. So I go in, and he gave me, I think they just tightened it the first time. Fell out again. So I go back, they gave me because I was like, hey, I'm moving to Australia. Like, I can't have this thing fall out, because if it falls out over there, it's done. And I'm not going to pay the whatever amount of money to get this re-pierced and go through this healing process again. So like, oh, okay, I understand. So they put a new like rod in, and then I bought a new jewel. And so they actually put a flat one on the bottom and on the top. And he tightened it and tightened it and tightened it and tightened it. And it hasn't fallen out since. I love my tongue piercing. I think it's like a little hidden surprise because no one really knows it's there. But yeah, other people think it's trashy, so that's awesome. In Australia, it's weirdly common, so no one thinks anything of it. Back home, everyone thinks it's trashy. So, oh well. And last but not least, my nose piercing. So this does not look the best just because this is still like the first one that I got. I haven't switched it yet. Again, I'd been on Pinterest and on TikTok, and I'm like, nose piercing, like, So my friend and I are out, and I had been thinking of it, and we were at the store. And if you haven't watched my previous video, you may not know where this is leading, but watch my previous video and you'll see. So I literally was just like, do you guys pierce noses here? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, how much does it cost? 20 minutes later, I'm getting a friggin' needle shoved in my ear? Nose. That would have been awkward. I'm getting a needle shoved in my nose. I was absolutely terrified. I was shaking. I made her move the dot where I wanted it like 10 times. And then she shoved it through. My eyes watered. And it didn't hurt. It hurt in the moment, but and I was done. And then I walked around and could not get over staring at it. And then you have to like wear a Band-Aid at night so it doesn't fall out. It was really sore. Like I would notice it'd be sore when I woke up because I like definitely touched it in my sleep. I still do. Like it's kind of swollen today because I know I was messing with it last night in my sleep. I don't know why, but it happens all the time. And then about a week after I got it, I was washing my face and the washcloth got stuck and it just went blah, 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 like just slimed right out. And I was like, like what the heck do I do? And I called my friend and she was like, you're just gonna have to shove it back through. I just got out of the shower. I did not even have clothes on. I ran to my bedroom because I'm like sitting there trying to do it and I couldn't get it. I run into my room, I sit on the floor, I grabbed my little mirror and put it in front of my face, and I just went to town at that point. There was blood all over, and it hurt. It hurt so bad. It hurt way more than when I actually got it pierced, and it was super swollen. There was blood everywhere, and I learned really quick that nose piercings close up right away, which is why I still have this in and I haven't changed it because I'm so scared it's gonna close again. But I'm also at the point where I might just go in and be like, can you change this for me? Even though at the end of the day, when I go home, I'm probably going to go somewhere else and get different jewelry for it. And I like the idea of a hoop, but I work with small children that pull my hair and my eyes and like all my clothes. And so I don't want to give them another thing that's even more painful to pull on, to be honest. I did a lot of talking today. I'm sorry, I didn't know I would talk that much. I mean, I usually talk that much, but I'm sorry. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope this helped. If you have any questions about tattoos or piercings, you can comment them below and I can try to help you. I'm not at all any sort of professional. I only know based on what's happened to me. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye!